Hello everybody, and welcome to another Chill Sunday stream. Today we are finishing Toem, the game that we were playing last Sunday. I see Doug's already made it into chat. Hello and welcome, Doug. Hope you're having a chill and lovely Sunday. Glad to have you here. I'm gonna just give people some time to make their way into the game, into the chat rather, and so we can play this game, Toem. And yeah, hope everybody is relaxed with this calm music as we're gonna go on a small little adventure and take some photos. Last time we finished the base game, we still have a few achievements to finish off from that, but we found out that there was extra content, and that was a nice surprise. So instead of cramming it all into one stream, we'll finish it in this one. Why rush? It's a chill stream. I'm here with a nice pot of Earl Grey tea. And as Doug says, gaming on a Sunday more likely than you think. Very true. I also want to remind people to switch from top chat to live chat so that you can see what everybody else has to say. Additionally, I am kind of wondering... Doug says, I don't think I've seen ill online, unfortunately. Oh, that's a shame. I'm wondering if daylight savings messed with anything in terms of people coming to the stream. I know we have a few people on the server that are from Europe, and I don't know if their daylight savings times, correlate to daylight savings in the US. But if that happens, it's okay. The VOD will be here. People will be able to check it out at their leisure. I have topics, by the way, for the week for at least a video. But I have a bunch of stuff that I've spent some time this past week researching. I am just gonna give the update now in terms of my personal life. I've reached a point where it kind of feels like I'm putting the pieces back together. From everything that's gone on the past couple of months. So, things are looking up. Things are looking good. I'm very happy with where I'm at. I got myself back into my rhythm a little bit more, and that should hopefully start allowing me to add things on top of it, which should involve at least a video this week. So, unless something wacky happens that is unforeseen, I do at least have a topic for a small video. It may not be 100% what, I normally do. It may not be the same in that way, but video will be coming back and we'll start making a return to form in that direction. So... that is the plan, at least. And all we can do is plan. All we can do is try our best when it comes to stuff like that, because at the end of the day, we have to just do what we can. With that said, I'm gonna pop into the adventure. Now, I arrived in the extra area, but I have some achievements to clear. So I am gonna go back and clear some of those achievements before we get into the bonus area. Because I found out that I've had something that I could do this entire time, and I didn't do it. Where is the person I'm looking for? Not this way. Where was the... You. It was you. Was the Frosty Mountain area the last part of the main game? Correct, it was. Want to swap hats? Yes. Equip. Now I'm a pirate. Which is all I ever want in life. And there is this area right here. I hope you'll find some enjoyment from the frames and filters. No. Welcome to the Photo Challengers Guild. Out here you can check photos from all the challenges. Wow, you completed all the challenges. That's amazing. Welcome to the guild, fellow challenger. You got a Photo Challenger flag. And with that, we've unlocked the achievement cosplayer because we have unlocked all of the different things that one can wear. So, that means that I can pick my outfit quite freely. And I think I have to go with pirate hat, ghost glasses with a scarf, the sneakers because they make you run fast, and I think we need our foam finger and challenge mask. I think we're good. I think we're set. Life goal complete. Exactly, Doug. Let's see. What other achievements are there that I have not gotten? The Amazing Race. Okay. So this one is going to involve us going back to Oakville. And if we see this little snail right here, doing its snail thing, being a snail, we have to wait for it to reach that flag. I know this is not the most exciting gameplay, but, you know, we're here on a chill Sunday stream, so we chill. We watch snails for 5 minutes as they make their way to a checkered flag. Waiting stream where you watch me sip some tea. Can I just say, daylight savings is gotta be one of the most frustrating things in terms of schedules and time and all that. Like, everything feels off already, and this is the first day of it. Just another one of the creatures that have been created by capitalism that don't exactly benefit anyone and make no sense. Let's interrupt everybody's sleep schedule, reduce everybody's sleep by an hour, you know, one for the night, and then everything is theoretically off for by an hour for everybody. Then you have to take into account the global effects because some places do it, some places don't. And it's just all over the place. It never benefits people. Go, snail, go. So, needless to say, I'm a little bit frustrated with it. And if that's why people are elite to stream, then that's all good. Riveting snail gameplay here. It's making it, though. It's halfway there. And of course, every time halfway there, it's living on a prayer. At least I have the foam finger for optimal cheering on. Dang right. We've got a foam finger and a pirate hat. We are cheering this snail on. It's making it. It's making it. Number 1 snail. Fastest racer. Let's zoom in for the photo finish. So close to finishing. You know, one of the things I've really enjoyed about this game, and I haven't even been showing off the full extent of it, is that theoretically you can just go around and find whatever you want to take a photo of. Achievement completed, slow and steady. You go, snail. You go. It's still going. It's still going. Oh, it's going back now. Like, you could theoretically take photos of whatever you want. Like, the photos that they offer you are just guidelines to kind of get you thinking about the world. But theoretically, you can go anywhere. You can take a photo of anything here. Except, porcupines, apparently. They don't like when you stare at them. What other achievements do we have? Snap a close-up of a dancer. Snap a close-up of an influencer. Snap a close-up of a stressed human. Those are all going to be in the city area. Doug says at least after you complete enough to get the bus. I mean, yeah, but like, that doesn't involve much. You look stressed. I do not think you count as a stressed person. But you count as an influencer. So, There we go. Achievement unlocked, 100 followers. I need a stressed person. And I need a dancer. You should count as a dancer, but you don't. Because I am convinced that guy break dances. Where would there be? I don't know, you look kinda stressed. No. I mean, you're a model more than a dancer. Wait. Damn right, pirate fashion. We've made piracy fashionable again. Okay. Where is there a stressed person and a dancer? Everybody's wearing pirate hats now. You're not a stressed person, apparently. Hello and welcome. Hope you're having a chill and lovely Sunday. Glad to have you here. We're just making our way around trying to get some achievements done. We're trying to find dancer and a stressed person. Like, how do you not qualify as a stressed person? Maybe one of them is an area with the reporters. That's what I was thinking. But apparently not. Il says, just finishing up the catalog / bestiary. Yeah, and then we have an entirely different area that we can go into. Maybe you're the dancer. Maybe the dancer isn't in the city. I'm trying to think if there was a dancer anywhere in the game. Bill said, unfortunately, I can't hear the stream because you're currently in a bar. You're in a bar watching my stream. That's funny. Oh, man. A new job achievement. Okay, that was one of them. I looked up where the dancer is. It's in Stanham. I wouldn't have thought this person counted, but apparently they do. I think it's the lady jumping, but when she jumps, yeah. Yep, a sparkling jump. Hello and welcome, Zero. Hope you're having a chill and lovely Sunday. Glad to have you here. Have we decided on the next game yet, or will that be decided on Discord? So I found a game that I think is going to be lovely. Actually got a bundle of games that almost all would be good for for streaming. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I will be showing that off later in the stream. Let me see. Snap a close-up of an old man and of a mountain explorer. Alright, that's gotta be in this area. Yeah, we're not waiting for the bus. Gotta take a picture of an old explorer and an old man. The old explorer's in here, I think. Yep. Or happy youth. Okay. Which one did that count as? Achievements? That's an old man. Of the mountain explorer. I think this one is the Mountain Explorer. Yep. Great story achievement unlocked. You're really good with that camera. What is that one? Oh. Oh dear. Okay, I would not have known that. Okay. Doug says Wait, let's see. Doug says I just work here. And Zero says no working on a chill Sunday. Yeah, I agree with that. No working on a chill Sunday. Just take it easy. I'm glad it auto-eclipsed the climbing boots. We follow the Sabbath here on the Anarchist Terrace Street. No working on Sundays. How about no working on all days? Just no more work. Forget work. Work is abolished. So this is the last achievement, I believe, for the main game. You found us achievement. That's kind of a strange one. Bill says that's what I follow. Zero says, or no working on days that end in Y. I completely agree. 100%. Alright, so. We have now to go to Basto, the last area in the game. Because we have all the achievements, I believe, and have 100% of the main game. Yep. Alright, so let's head over to Basto again. Waiting for the bus. Yep, we're going to Stanham. I think that was the devs, yeah. That was a sneaky little Easter egg. You got a ticket? Yes, you do. Want to go to Basto? Yep. Alright, hop in. Here we are. Thanks for traveling with Viking Express. Hit the target over there with a water balloon. Open your camera and swap out the honk. Okay. Nice shot. Now that you know how to use it, let's spice it up. I've hidden 11 special balloons around the island. See if you can pop them all. Happy hunting and enjoy your stay at Basto. Also, this time instead of a bus ride, we're gonna have a big campfire with everyone on Basto. So stop by when you have at least 10 stamps. Okay. So I gotta keep an eye out for balloons to pop. Let's see what Basto has to offer. Yo, looking to buy a jet ski? No thanks. What do you mean? Jet ski is life. Isn't that right, bro? Totally, bro. My bro can do the flippiest tricks. Like the most rad stunts ever. If only we could capture one. Yo, my bro looks totally primitive, dude. Hey bro, you look sick as hell. I know, bro. Thanks for this. Oh, that's one. We got our first tip. Zero says, I like that in indie games the devs can still add fun Easter eggs like that. I get the sense that they don't let them get away with things like that in AAA games. You know, it's part of why I have developed a taste for almost exclusively indie games at this point. I don't expect the same thing that I expect out of, say, a AAA game, but AAA games don't even come fully done anymore. So, like, I don't know, for me, having an indie game that I can support a developer that's trying something new, that's trying to innovate, that's trying to create something people want, even if it's just them, and put something out there. Even if it doesn't come out perfect, even if it isn't a great experience every single time, just the fact that people are creating things, I think, is really important. That doesn't mean I won't play a AAA title every now and then. I do happen to think that Nintendo, for example, puts out some decent games, and of course one of my favorite games right now is Sea of Thieves, which is from Rare, which is owned by Microsoft. But that said, I think that when I play games outside of that, pretty much, I'd rather play something from an indie developer. Doug says AAA games are not super fun either, especially since 90% of them are third-person collectathons. Okay, listen. I feel personally attacked here because I like third-person collectathons, okay? I grew up with Banjo-Kazooie. I grew up with Mario 64. To me, the collectathon is peak gaming. They're fine, I like Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey was good. Mario Odyssey was a surprisingly good experience. But no, I agree with you, Il. Microtransactions are a big problem. And I think microtransactions that have anything to do with gameplay are a major problem. Not that the cosmetic stuff can't be predatory in its own right. I'll print a bunch right now. Okay, that's gonna be on a poster. What do you want, monkey? Oh, my poor little leg, it hurts so much. Only a really nice cold ice cream, suitable for a tiny, adorable monkey, can fix my leg. Oh, the pain. Water Strider. Il said, is there a topic for the stream? There's been several topics for the stream. I kind of felt like we'd keep it open-ended for today. Doug said, all I'm saying is you can only collect on so much. Lies. But also, yeah, sometimes you want a Metroidvania. There are 11 flowers left. Why aren't these flowers growing? I don't know. You're here. Doug said, we don't need to collect 100 bingles in every Tomb Raider or Batman game or whatever the fuck. But if you don't collect all the Riddler trophies, how are you gonna get the secret ending, Doug? How? Explain that to me. If you don't collect all of the 100 MacGuffins, how else are you going to see this special secret scene that ends up being a postcard at the end of Mario Sunshine? Zero says Tara will not be satisfied until she has collected all the things. Look, I don't know what it is about collectathons, but collectathons do something for me in terms of, just providing a certain satisfaction of seeing the checklist get completed and seeing everything it's beautiful to see the completion screen at the end and everything's checked off and you got all the things. Doug said, true, how else am I supposed to see congrats, you did it, instead of congrats? It is satisfying. All I'm gonna say. I know it's not for everybody, but for me, it scratches an itch. when I want to feel like I accomplished more than I accomplished in a day. Doug says, I like the completion part, it's just way too similar. That's fair. And there are some games that did take it too far. I'm thinking of Donkey Kong 64 in particular, where you have to go to a spot, and then you find out, oh no, I have to switch Kong, so I have to go all the way back to the barrel to switch the Kong, and then I have to switch, and then I go all the way back, and then I do the thing only to find out that the Kong that I originally was the one that I needed to become after I did that. Fortunately, fans have actually made it way more bearable because they've added mods to the game that allow you to swap Kongs whenever you want. So all I'm gonna say is, like, there are ways to mess it up. Doug said, I just want them to not copy See So Much. Barrelable. Yeah, no, I get it. Like, I also want to see innovative gameplay, and I want to see different gameplay. And I like this game, for example. Like, taking the photos is wonderful. I'm also reminded of the one where, Carto, where you had to, like, rearrange the pieces. And I also like games that allow you to come up with multiple different solutions to things. Whereas I feel like a lot of the AAA games don't necessarily do that. And a lot of them have been stuck on the Assassin's Creed formula pretty much since Assassin's Creed 1 came out. Zero says, I personally respond most to stories. I know Sony's a huge corporation, but I really like how they make games that are so focused on telling a story like the Uncharted games. So I've never actually played the Uncharted games, but I agree with you. Storytelling, I think, is a key component of a lot of the games that I've enjoyed over the years, and I do think that a lot of RPGs and a lot of Sony's games tend to lean more in that direction. However, with just core gameplay, Nintendo does, I think, a little better. I'm reminded of the latest Metroid game, for example. Metroid Dread was really good. Doug says, yeah, like, if this were a AAA game, you'd have a skill tree and 70 hidden stickers to take a picture of. See, that wouldn't be fun to me. And I've noticed with a lot of big label games also, they've kind of made it, I don't know how to put this. I have recently been watching Let's Plays while I've been doing some of the work that I've needed to do to get myself back in order, of like some of the later Paper Mario games. Now, I've played Bug Fables on this channel, and Bug Fables captures pretty much everything that I loved about the original Paper Mario and Thousand Year Door. But the later games in the series, after Super Paper Mario, all go down this route where battles don't even count for much. Everything is just kind of like, oh, we're just doing this because we're doing this. And it's strange to me that a lot of games have gone in this very strange direction as far as I'm concerned when it comes to storytelling and a lack thereof. And how it's just kind of repackaged the same game over and over again with maybe slight modifications. Like, Sticker Star was terrible, and Color Splash was a mildly better version of Sticker Star. And I've been just watching Origami King, and it's not better. Like, I get that they finally got rid of the cards or the stickers, but like, ugh. Zero says the sticker Paper Mario was boring. I don't think I finished it. I don't think a lot of people finish it, because there's no point to battling in the game. Every review points this out. It's like battling ends up becoming a punishment more than a reward to make number go up and make you get stronger and make you feel like you're getting progression while going through a well-told story that you're challenging yourself with battles with. It ends up just being, I need to get from point A to point B. And I don't understand that. If you're gonna do that, just make me jump on the Goomba's head and, like, let me move on. Don't make me have to go into a battle, to use a thing, That's only going to give me currency to buy more of the things that I need to battle in the first place. That's not fun. Getting back to this, though. I was a little worried you were going to miss my note. The water's still too high to visit the rest of Boston. We'll have to wait until night for it to go down. Some of the critters prefer being out at night, and many inhabitants prefer being out during the day. If you're planning on seeing all Boston has to offer, you might need to take a few naps while we're here. Go ahead, take a nap. No, I'm not ready to take a nap. Don't tell me what to do. Doug says true, that's just real-life simulator at that point. Right? Right? Yeah, we're gonna put on the sun hat. Now we're still a pirate, we're just a straw hat pirate. I am not ashamed of that joke. It's a beach snake. Okay, I think I'm actually going to have to nap. You won't get a sunburn on your nose. Hey there, how was your nap? Still tired, huh? Haha. Oh man, I got a sticker for taking a nap. That's amazing. Go out and explore a bit, will you? Wait a sec. Do these count as the balloons? Are they the ones I have to break? Oh, wow. That did not dawn on me. I was looking for more balloon-shaped balloons. We should all be rewarded for napping. I agree. More naps for everybody. Oh no, what are you? Oh my god, it's a little bleep. What are you doing? How are you this adorable? Blah. 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 A baby hugger. It just goes blah. No, I don't want to take a nap yet. But what I do want to do, pop that balloon. Painting is a passion, but right now I feel a hurdle. I can still paint, but it's not as fun anymore. My shapes never feel as exciting. I probably need to broaden my horizons and build something more organic and sparkling, like a portrait. Oh, that's perfect. Something like this. And this. And... voila. Truly another masterpiece. Dang right. Thank you. No, the royal family's napping. The castle's open during the day. Yes, they are napping. The royal family? Are we gonna have to take out a monarchy? How do I get this one? It's that. Also a balloon that needs to be popped. I had a little sunburn on my nose. It says ill. Zero says I don't usually get sunburns, but if I do, it's always on my nose. I don't know, my nose doesn't usually burn. It's not the area I think of as an issue for sunburns. Let's explore all of this at nighttime. Hello there. We're telling spooky stories, and I'm up next. My story's gonna be super spooky. I just gotta come up with a spooky part. A big spooky tree would be perfect. Could you help me with a photo of a spooky tree? A spooky tree. Do I have one of a spooky tree? Maybe we'll find one. The spookiest tree, the snowman tree. I think so. What's going on? I can't see the movie. Ah, it's too bright. That's uncomfortable. Hey, bet you've never seen anything like this before. I assembled it all by myself, baby. I've named it Arthur. Thumbnail drop? There's a ton of weird things hidden in Bastion. And of course, I bet you have an itch for hidden things as well. You got a pickaxe, great for digging X spots. If you find any of Arthur's missing pieces, show me a photo of them. Night lizard. Was digging, fell asleep in ground, found nice hat, but hot head. Need to cool down with ice pack, head so hot. Okay. That's two people who need some ice cream. Is that a Yoshi egg? He could just take off the hat. True, he could take off the hat. A snout bug. A bitling snail. Hey, let me tell you a secret. The coast is clear. Have you heard of bitlings? Very special creatures. They look just like normal critters, but they're all loafy and blocky. They also emit a strange melody. I want photos of them all. Do you have what it takes to find them? Nice find. Got any more? Not yet. But I will. Why take off the hat when you can have ice cream? That's fair. Unless he's worried about moonburns on his nose. You gotta watch out for those moonburns. They surprise you. Oh, no, wait. There's a balloon back there. And who might you be? Is someone there? Hello? I would play you a song, but I can't see anything. The seaweed is blocking my eyes. It's tangled in my hair. I've tried everything. Can you help me? A splash might help. I just want to play my ukulele. I can see. Thank you very much. I can finally play my song. Heck yeah. We did it. The moon's so fine. My hair's so fine. La. A drum roll. Okay, we got one of the photos of the dinosaur bones. We've been everywhere here, but there's a dig spot down there. Gotta grab that. Here to seaweed hair is water balloons. I mean, who didn't know that? Also, hello and welcome, Duke. Hope you're having a chill and lovely Sunday. Glad you could join us. I might have to get that balloon in the daytime because the flies are blocking it. Oh, come on. Okay, all the ghosts have assembled. Nay, look at me, my beautiful mane. It's flourishing right now. Wow, I can't believe it. What? After I spent so long waiting, I forgot my super deluxe sandwich. You did? Ugh, I'm glad you made it. This is where we come to relax. I even brought my old couch. Feel free to sit and relax with us. You've earned it. What? The one and only? It's the Rock in a Cup champion. Hope it wasn't too hard. If you're looking for some new challenges, look for the person with the top hat. The sun is so big and hot. Ooh, teehee. I really enjoyed our date, but right now I'm really enjoying my time here. Huh. Nothing can beat Oakville, but at least this place comes close. I love the shrubbery. Monty Python reference? I've never seen trees with fruit. Trees in Oakville don't have that. I mean, they do. They do. You're just not looking hard enough. I'm chilling with some ghosts. Dig spot. A treasure chest. You got flip-flops. Dang right. We're gonna wear some flip-flops. Zero said it's got a little bit of a bossa nova style. What does? So, warm, water please. Empty bottle, there's nothing in it. Yeah. Okay. You got a water bottle filled with drinkable water. Water. I feel refreshed. Cheers. I don't know what just happened. But that person just got, like, ripped drinking water. In the dark, they can be seen. Flying rats shaped like beans. Wake up 3 and I'll awaken. Then ice cream will be 8. Wake up 3 bats? A glowworm. I woke you up, bat. You got a sun cap. Yeah, we'll put that on. You gave a buff man some water and then he ran off a common occurrence for me personally. Oh man. I didn't know I had to wake up the bats. I love this frog right here. Blah. Oh, do I have to, like, water the plants or something? You got a water bottle. Whoa! The flowers, it grew. Of course, they need water. Wow, can't believe I forgot to water them. I feel really silly now. I bet the rest of them are also thirsty. I planted them around Boston, hoping they would spread. Would you mind helping me water the rest of them? I didn't forget to water the plants. They forgot to water the plants. I happen to be the hero here, okay? I remembered to water the plants. Zero said I want to see this frog get a 6-season TV series in a movie. I would watch it. Dude needs more water? We happen to have it. Feel refreshed. Cheers. I gotta throw water at this bat. Two out of 3. There's a lot to keep track of in this one. Doug says there's actually a frog that's similar but a lot squeakier. I I DM'd it to you on Discord. Thank you for making my day. What's going on? I can't see the movie. It's too bright. Can I... Oh, there's the third bat. Also, did I get a photo of you? Because you look like somebody who's photoable for a close-up. Moonlit Beauty achievement completed. Nice. Need more water. Good to go. Finally, home sweet home. I'll post it in Comrade Animals too, why not? Yeah, please do. I sure was thirsty, but now I'm back home and ready to pump. Stay hydrated. I would have thought that this person would have been one that I needed. Huh. Might as well show you a couple of the pieces of Arthur. Yeah, I also happen to have a leg bone. That should do it. Arthur's growing stronger. Do you have any more? You won't like Arthur when he's full strength. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know enough about Arthur. But what I do know is this plant needs water. We're gonna make that happen. And this plant. Mwahaha, I'm free. That's not terrifying at all. I just freed a vampire. This can only mean one thing. Ice cream. Do you have any? No? Be gone with you. Man, I just woke you up and then you demand ice cream from me. That's unreasonable. Arthur is French. I'm gonna hit this guy with a balloon. No. I have a moral imperative to hit this guy with a balloon. This place rocks. The water's perfect. I should contact my coworkers and let them know I'm on vacation, but it's so relaxing. I'll do it soon. Splish Splash, achievement on... Oh, that's amazing. What's the point of being awake if not for ice cream? There are ice cream adjacent things that are worth being awake for. Feel like I need to switch to daytime. Definitely feel like I need to switch to daytime at this point. I need a nice nap spot. I'm stealing your bed. Ice cream is the only thing worth being awake for. I mean, that's fair. That's reasonable, I guess. That was a doozy, nothing like it. I got more. I wonder if I get a thing for filling them all out. Portrait, okay. It has to be specifically one of the special portraits. Let's see what else. Go to the front of the book and see. Are there more? If there are, I don't think I have them yet. Okay. Let's see. It's daytime, so I should be able to go in here. Chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. That sounds delicious right now. That's a balloon I need to pop. And a plant that needs to be watered. Good evening. We're having a competition for the best sandcastle. Would you like to be our judge? Sure. Fantastic. Put your top 3 sandcastles in the frames behind me, and let me know when you're ready. I'm not doing anything. I'll stop, I promise, for some ice cream. You! I don't like you. Just ask me for some ice cream. There has to be some fruit around here. I gotta get you fruit. So I gotta get this guy fruit to get ice cream. Okay. Can I just... We're all very excited for tonight's movie. Oh, okay, I can't wait, yes. Ooh. Okay. What's your deal? Are you a photographer? I'm trying to find all the bugs on Dosto. Only missing one. Comes out at night. But I'm not allowed out during it. Maybe you could take a photo for me. Looking for a bug with a glowing butt. Would that be a glow bug, perhaps? A glowworm? Firefly? Whoa, that bug has a glowing butt. So cool. Okay. I should be able to get over to this spot now. Which I couldn't get to before. Tickets, tickets, hit the targets with your balloon. There's no time left. So take your time and don't miss. Good luck. Congratulations, here's your ticket. You got a minigame ticket. Can be exchanged for prizes. Okay. That's our 10th balloon. Tickets, tickets, find a face. Honk to make a guess. Get 500 points to win a ticket. Good luck. Wait, what? Cool. Oh. Whoops. I don't know if I'm timed for these, or if I should just be taking my time. I'm sorry, what was different on that one? Squiggle mouth, nose, Is that it? Okay. I got punk hair, nose, tongue sticking out. Looks kind of like that one to me. Congratulations, here's your ticket. Okay. You got a mini-game ticket. Come back anytime. Tickets, honk when the notes are in the zone. Earn points when you hit a note. Lose points when you miss. Good luck. I messed that up. Didn't realize what I was doing at first. Okay, that was ridiculous. I am really bad at these in general, even though I tend to have good rhythm in other things. Just barely got it. Okay. Pro Gamer achievement unlocked. Everybody, it's official. I'm a Pro Gamer. Honktar hero. Alright, straight at the burnout. Do what it takes to complete my game. Test your skill. Honk your way to victory. Splash some water. Get distracted. Play as much as you want. One ticket for each win. Trade them for fabulous prizes. Come to me once you completed one game to get a stamp. Insert 3 tickets? Yes. You got a royal cane. Okay. There we go. I'm gonna just check something super quick. I'm curious if this works. Okay. Come back anytime. Okay, let me... just do this a few times. Easy enough. We can get prize number 2. A vacation shirt. Yeah, we're equipping that. And one more time. I didn't realize that the gyroscope in my controller was kicking in. Now it's a lot easier to aim. Hello and welcome, Perry. Hope you're having a chill and lovely Sunday. Glad you could join us today. We have a leg. Okay. No, I don't want to play this. Yes. I have to water this plant. There was a bad joke there. Pixel Frog. Oh my god! It's Pixel Frog, my best friend right now. In this game. Because everybody loves Pixel Frog. I'm sorry, what? Okay. And that's the 11th balloon. Nice. I think we found our spooky tree. Sometimes you just gotta be a runny egg in the dirt. Apparently. You got a Bina. I found another one, which I will show you, which is the Bitling Frog. Not yet, but I'll show you when I get them. Yeah, I'm working on your ice cream. There's another fruit here. A Melanier. got a banakin. Okay, I need one more fruit then. Oh, I know what to do for that. Okay. I need to go to sleep, yes. I gotta ruin this campfire, I think. I found a spooky tree, yes. What is that? It's so spooky. This will be a great spooky start. Everyone, gather, gather. Take a seat. It's time for spooky story time. Once upon a dark night, very much like tonight, a group of folks gathered around a campfire, just like this one. Their marshmallows were toasting, and through the crackling of the fire, something could be heard moving in the distance. Leaves in the bushes rustled. The sound of footsteps became louder, and then roar. It was a spooky tree, and he came to eat all the marshmallows. No! Let's run away. Wow, I scared myself too. That was super spooky. Oh, that's 10 out of 20. Also, it's too bright for the movie, so we have to douse these flames. There we go. Thank you. You're welcome. There is another dig spot here, which will be probably the last of these. Yeah, that's the head. There's a withered flower right here. That's 10 out of 11. No fruit here. One flower remaining. Nothing around here. Alright, let's head back this way. Not the marshmallow, so long as it isn't the ice cream. Yeah, we can't be the ice cream, that'd be bad. Okay, yeah, let me give you the last piece here. That should do it. Arthur's complete. With a sturdy foot, a strong leg, and a fantastic head. Arthur, you're looking great, baby. Let's go. Head over this way. Okay, not seeing anything else really here. Let's go through the cave then. I know I gotta get everybody ice cream, but I need one more fruit first. Which I'm weirdly not seeing. Let's go back to daytime and see if that helps. Maybe there's another fruit in here somewhere. This kid is annoying. Also, I can't get the little 8-bit mouse because of that kid. I'm gonna just deal with that. You got 3 ice cream cones. Fiddling mouse. Okay. We're gonna take a picture of this one. And take a picture of that one. And we're gonna take a picture of that one. Third place goes to this one. Second place goes to Shoe. And third place goes to the tower. There you go. Welcome, welcome. The time has come to announce the winners of the castle building competition. In third place, we have the Stronghold. And receiving the second place, we have that tests the limits of the rules, a sand-covered shoe. Is that my shoe? In first place, we have the winner of the grand prize, the King's Royal Cape. What now? The tallest one yet, the Spiral Tower. I used to live in one of these. Very nice. Congratulations, everyone. Can the first place winner come up to the stage? Can the judge come up here? Congratulations, you're the winner. What a perfect opportunity for me to show off my favorite shirt. Freaking love this shirt. It has a crown on it and everything. How adorable. King's new shirt. That's funny. Okay there, Droll Boy. Oh, I guess I could give you now the portrait of the king. Imagine the kid had a hitbox. Excuse me a moment. I'm disappointed. I feel like I did everything in here. No new... Oh, there's the last fruit. Alright, now I can get all the ice creams I need. And we now have all that. So I'm missing one flower. The monkey needed... Okay. Let's go to nighttime. Monkey needed the ice cream. Oh, but Monkey's sleeping. Alright, so I gotta sleep again to get it to daytime. Give Monkey his ice cream. Ice cream for me? My leg? It's healing itself. I feel so much better. Thanks. Alright, now I gotta give to the other two. Ice cream, do you be like that? You're all making me want ice cream. Acquire ice cream. Don't think I can today, but definitely want now. You have any? That's it. Ice cream. Send it over, please. That hit the spot. Alright, I have a third bitling for you, which is the mouse. Anything with chocolate in it, I'm good. Always chocolate ice cream. Cool. Cool. So what I got? Dry season. So I need one of the plants, and I need another bitling. Where have I missed a plant? I feel like I've been everywhere. Was there one in his house? Yeah, there's one in your house. There's the last plant. They're all watered? Thanks, kid. Yep, we did it. That's 19 out of 20. Can't believe I forgot to add water. So we need the photo spot for this area. We also need a few more animals, and we need the bit creature. Is there an advantage to sleeping here for some reason? Harry says chocolate ice cream is good, the cones are good too. I like a drumstick. Duke says a coffee crisp one. Yeah, I mean, flavor preferences are definitely, thing. I don't know, I could just go for ice cream right now. Because you all keep talking about it. Frog is right there. So, is this not a different creature? Okay, I took a photo of that earlier and it did not give me credit. Let's see, what are we missing for the achievements? We're missing 6 achievements still. Relax on a chair with your vacation outfit on. Snap a close-up of yourself. Let's set up the... How do we do that again? Set up a tripod. That's not working. Why is it not working? Have to figure that out. Achievement. Full moon. Photograph the royal sandcastle. There we go. That was one we were missing. Achievement completed the royal castle. Photograph all the creatures, complete all the quests. Well, what am I missing from the album? The cocoa crab. haven't seen a crab. There we go, self-portrait. Okay, at nighttime... Okay, I see how to do that one. I painted all my canvases. That sure was fun. Thanks for all the photo references. You got a beret. Nice. I need to sleep for that achievement. Go to nighttime. This is the only one that I think has... And that's how you get the cool moon achievement. And just... see. Oh. Don't know how I would have gotten that one. Okay, see where that one is. Take a rest, go back to daytime. Oh, no, I was supposed to be at nighttime. My fault. Nope, that's not what I wanted you to do. I want you to go down the other one. There we go. Would it have to be daytime for this one? No, I see it. Got the last bitling. We are just about wrapping things up here. Cocoa crab. I did find it. There's like Data. Bitling said it's good scouting, and thanks for keeping our secret. All 20 are done. Achievement unlocked, a Vikings holiday. Now, I am missing 1. And I'm missing 2. I'm fairly certain I know where... Let's see. Pretty sure I know where the spider would be. That's gonna be Itsy Bitsy Spider. Secret tunnel. And then... what do I have to do here? Crown. Okay. Do I have a crown? Does this count? I don't think it counts. Ooh, okay. Oh no, it's a sliding puzzle. Okay, achievement completed and some more. Oh, and there's a secret. Hold on. There's another secret that we need to get. For this, we need it to be daytime. Frame a picture of this. Secret dig spot. Which gives us the ancient crown. And now we take all of this back to the cave. This is kind of convoluted. Not gonna lie. I would not have known how to do any of this without looking at a guide. And we summon the actual king. So what are we missing? Do we have all the animals? Alright, so is there an achievement missing? Relax on a chair with your vacation outfit on. I think that's the only one. I think that's the only one we got left. So I'm assuming vacation outfit then would be... Hold on. Is it the sun cap or the straw hat with the vacation shirt? Sun hat, vacation shirt with the flip-flops. Okay. Flip-flops, vacation shirt, and sun hat. And now all we have to do is sit in this chair over here. Maximum vacation. And that's it. That's every achievement in the game. So, let's go and turn in our thing since we don't have a bus ride. And we'll be good to go. Take a nap. Did you complete everything? Here's your new stamp. Free bus ride. This will let you join the campfire. Do you want to head to the campfire event? Let's go. Let's do it. There you are. I was just about to tell everyone about your adventures, but since you're here, why don't you tell us all about it? Doug says sliding puzzles are just the type of puzzle I don't understand. Original Legend of Zelda-ass puzzle. The original Legend of Zelda had a lot going, you know, a lot of issues because most people who played it didn't know that it came with a map. The Bosto content update was our gift to you. Toem has been truly a labor of love from everyone involved. Thank you, developers. None of us could have dreamed that Toem would be so appreciated. We can't wait to make more games. And I can't wait to see what these developers have, because, yeah, this was great. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Hugs and love, the whole Toem development team. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Duke says the original Legend of Zelda had so many random secrets you had to know to beat the game. If someone didn't tell you, you just couldn't win. Very true. Alright, so that's 100% in the game. So that was Toem, everybody. That was wonderful. It was just a very chill, relaxed experience, going around, taking photos, making things happen. Very cute game. Very much appreciate it, and I would love to see what these developers could put out. The fact that they saw the appreciation for the game and put something out like the Basto stuff, like, that just tells me that the developers love their game and they loved what they were making. And honestly, I've said it before on this channel, I've said it many times, there's just something about these very chill games that I think go underappreciated, that you could just go around and just enjoy taking photos. No timers, no running, no chasing thing. Just a very good experience where you can just get ice cream for a vampire. Okay? Like, that's what happened at the end there. Now, outside of that annoying kid at the sandcastle thing, the game was perfect. As far as I'm concerned. It was everything that it needed to be, and I very much appreciate that. Also, we can swap the backgrounds here. Duke says in real life has enough stress. Yeah, sometimes you just need to not be in that stressful space. And yeah, we've got 100% achievements on this game. Highly recommend. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a break. We're gonna go back to Staxel. We're going to make some sort of monument for Toem. We're gonna make the thing for the next game. And we might end a little bit early today, because I don't want to start necessarily the next game beforehand, but also show off the next game. So we'll spend some time with that. But I'll be back in like 5-ish minutes, and we'll be in Staxel, and then, yeah, I'll see you all there. Be back shortly. Hey everybody, we're back in Staxel. So, I wanted to throw it out to you all while we're back in Staxel. Is there anything that's been on your minds lately in terms of the political climate that maybe you'd want to talk about right now? Because I kind of left it open-ended for this stream, because last time we had talked about community activism and being in communities in relation to putting your talents forward. But I didn't feel like there was really anything else that fit the theme of Toem, but the idea of an adventure or something like that, I think lends itself sometimes to just opening the floor. So if you all have something that you'd like to bring up, by all means, do so. If not, that's cool too. We'll just, finish up what we're doing here and have a good time. So what do we make? This was our portal, was the camera. What do we make as some sort of sign for the journey that we took? What do we think? What from Toem, if anything? I'm gonna take a look. I mean, we could do like a little crystal like that was at the top of the mountain. That could work. Let's see. It was like our rainbow kind of crystal at the top of the mountain. So if we could get a bunch of blocks like these, that could kind of, let's see. Maybe in all the colors we have available, even if we can't do like a straight up rainbow. You know, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Oh, that could pass for violet. Yeah, no, that works. That works. And we could even make it something simple. Because it was like a... diamond prison type thing. So we could go like this, 1, 2, and then like that. And then the next color. No, you know what? It would be... I need to move this. This is too close to the camera. And we can put it in front of the camera since that was the whole point. Do red like that. Orange like that. So let's just get flying on so we can do this easier. We got red, orange, yellow. No worries, Duke. And then I'm making the rainbow thing that was at the top of the mountain. There was like a like a diamond-shaped crystal or whatever at the top of the mountain that gave like that prismatic rainbow effect. So I'm doing, yeah, the little beacon at the top of the mountain. So I'm kind of imitating that effect with a rainbow in front of the camera. What about making the bus? The bus changed every single time we traveled. I actually really like that. Kind of this rainbow effect. We've got all the colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and I guess violet. So pretty close. And it's in front of the camera. So yeah, that works for me. And the one thing I had also asked Duke, if you are up for it or want to, is if there's anything you wanted me to talk about in terms of politics, since I kind of left the topic open for the day. The texture of the wood at a distance looks cool too. Oh yeah. I'm a big fan of this. That looks nice. But while everybody's doing that, I know what our next game is going to be. So, I ended up finding a bundle on Humble Bundle that had a bunch of games that will be great stream material, I believe. One of the games that was in the bundle is one that I've wanted for a while, which is Baba Is You, which is not the game that I want to stream right now, but if there was interest in that, I would potentially stream that one as well. But the game I'm looking at currently, if I can figure out how to pull this up. You know, I am very briefly going to mute game sound just in case something opens. Yeah, that's what I figured was going to happen. Pull the Steam page up. NATO versus China, Return of the Cold War is the topic. I don't even feel like I had the expertise to talk about the issues going into that. I feel like it's one of those topics where, as an anarchist, I don't like NATO, but I also have a lot of issues with the way China runs things. And yeah. But let me do that. And let me see if that picks up. Yep. This is our next game. that is the last campfire. So yeah, I had seen that game and I absolutely was floored with it, and it happened to be in a bundle that was available. Ironically enough, this game is also bundled on Steam with Toem as what's known as a quote healing puzzle game. Um, so I'm thinking that we can build a little campfire portal. And then we'll set it ablaze when we finish the game. I thought that would be a good one. So Duke, what did you want to talk about with degrowth, if anything? Obviously, degrowth needs to happen. We need to stop harming ourselves. Like, there's a lot involved with that. Like, what exactly did you want to discuss about degrowth? While I build this campfire. It's funny that it's basically solar punk for academic. You're talking about degrowth? Because, yeah, that's essentially what it is. I mean, that happens quite often with sci-fi, where sci-fi ends up giving us more... I guess more of a realistic view into what needs to be than sometimes even the realities we look at on a daily basis. I feel like the fire should be somewhere like right here. And I find it kind of fitting that we ended on like a campfire and now we're going to another campfire. That was a happy little accident. Six. And then go 1, 2. Oh, can I not turn these? That's annoying. Degrowth is packaged right that it can reach more moderate sorts when they're ready to look at alternatives to capitalism. I mean, part of the issue that I feel like we're facing is that so many people already recognize that the system isn't working. But I feel like so many people are tired or don't know what to do to fix it, whether it be in their daily lives or whether it be in terms of the system that we're in, the structures that we're in. I'm seeing more and more people start to call the nonsense out, even if they're not on board with a lot of the other things that I associate with left perspectives. There's this deep feeling of something is very broken. And there are a ton of people who think that they can solve it with, you know, a reformed capitalism, which not happening. But the idea that there's something inherently wrong is quite apparent at this point. What we need right now is to popularize reasonable alternatives like degrowth so that when things hit the fan in their zeitgeist for people to draw on. Yeah, that would be ideal, right? Like to be able to have some sort of plan of action, some sort of goal. And degrowth really does appear to be that. My only concern, and I use concern loosely here, is that six. I want to go 1, 2, and down. 3, 4. My only concern is, you know, the conservative propagandists that are gonna try to emphasize that degrowth is like they're gonna take away your everything like they always do. But like that happens with everything. Duke says, and I agree, there are a lot more realizing than ever, but I think the majority are still too ignorant, misinformed, and confused. Well, I can't blame them exactly. Like, there's a lot of interests that have sown confusion in a lot of these spaces. Like, you literally have conservative pundits trying to refute everything that's being said all the time. Like, and to make the situation not seem so bad. Five and 6. And then we go, whoop, like that. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I'm not trying to create a face here. And then I think we take wood blocks and connect the outside. Create our little portal. And I think that's what else do we got in terms of a campfire? Campfire and campfire. So I think for now what we do, actually, this might be one that we actually transform over with time, is now we do like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we've got 2 spaces on either side, right? Yeah. One, 2, 3. No, I did not center that properly. I don't know if I can really center that properly. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it. So then I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then like that. And then we replace that with fire in when we light the last campfire. But I think that's going to be what we do for now. But I need something to kind of pop that out and make it more vibrant so it's able to be found. Or anything else? Not really. What about red things? I'd just keep it simple and maybe put lights or fire things on the wall torches on the side of the tree here. Also, it happens to be very close to the house here. I kind of like that, actually. Okay, let me catch up with what you were saying in chat. Gangle, hello, welcome. Hope you're having a lovely and chill Sunday. Thanks for joining us. I believe Gangle says, I think there's a wide acceptance that capitalism is deeply broken. Yeah, like I said, I think that people are starting to realize it more and more. They're starting to realize that the promises that were made, that the rewards that were fought for are not, they don't exist anymore. And it's becoming apparent that there's something wrong when people can't afford rent and when people can't afford to pay for groceries and when people can't afford to go to the doctor. Like, there's something deeply wrong in the US at the very least. And certainly the global world where, where things are a lot worse and will be a lot worse with the climate crisis coming. But yeah, I think that people are starting to recognize within their own little circles and bubbles that something's not right, something doesn't feel right. And I agree with Duke. A large part of our role as people who are, I guess, who have the ability, time, energy, what have you, to research these things, to develop these ideas, to talk about them, is to start putting these ideas in people's heads so they have something to turn to. And Duke says, I don't think we're going to prevent capitalism with will end with a head-on collision, I fear, and it's time to buckle up. It's quite possible. I think we're reaching, if we haven't already, we're reaching a choice where it's either we get rid of it one way or the other. Either we get rid of it by, like you said, crashing completely and just trying to pick up the pieces, or we start to realize that this whole model is not working and will not work. At least not for people in general. It'll only work for a handful of people. Perry says, can there be degrowth without a deprofit? Degrowth seems to maybe be a way to encourage people to do more things that don't make profit but yield other tangible benefits. So for me, I think that is tied to the whole community responsibility thing. And the problem is our markets, the way that we structure our global economy, everything is intertwined in such a way that, how do I phrase this? Under our current system, the way they justify the positioning is that everything is this weird mutual trust thing. And they don't take power dynamics into account when they talk about that. But it's this weird concept of mutual trust where everybody trading with each other and everybody having a hand in everybody else's pocket, essentially, makes it so that everybody has to work together and trust each other and blah, 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 blah. That's a myth. That's a mythology. That is far from the truth, especially because the entire concept is based off of a system where people reach into other people's pockets all the time. So to me, the concept of degrowth and deprofit is going to be one where we actually have to encourage people to understand that profit without the production of wealth is theft, and always has been theft. Mere ownership of something is not profitable. But it's by utilizing it, and it's by, existing in it. For example, even something as simple as a home, right? Like, if you have a blank space, that's not a home necessarily until you have a person living in it with the, things that one needs for it to be recognized as a home. So I think similarly, this concept of deprofit and degrowth would have to be tied together slowly. And that's going to be a concept that's going to be a little bit difficult for people, I think, to get past, especially in the heart of the United States, where the idea of profit is the golden thing that you're supposed to explore and go for. Duke says, as anarchists, we're used to dealing with conservatives throwing shade. I mentioned that to someone saying that about degrowth at a meeting. We know what we have to do. Degrowth requires a massive elimination of profit, ideally no longer existing, with surpluses always being distributed to all stakeholders equitably. And that's what I was getting at, Duke, right? Like, the concept of profit is, in the way that it's engineered under capitalism, will always be a form of theft. Because it's taking from the wealth that is created, and it's attaching that wealth and taking that wealth and giving it to somebody who didn't provide anything, essentially, simply because they had prior wealth. which was probably stolen in the first place as well. And that's how the system has always functioned. And, it's the issue with landlords, it's the issue with the capital class in general. And it's some of the things that you might see in the next video I put out as well, because I have some. This actually ties kind of close to what I wanted to talk about. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more coherent when it's actually, scripted and dealt with. Assuming I go that route. But yeah, Perry says, I think it is a way to strengthen the sense that getting away from profit motives is necessary and viable way to go. I don't even think it's just necessary and viable. It's the only way to get out of this without a complete crash. There are band-aid solutions that would be like redistribution of certain resources and wealth, but at the end of the day, that's not gonna fix the issue until we can learn to trust each other without that profit motive coming from wealth extraction. It's not gonna work. And until we can have things based on sensible, need-based creation of resources, it's not gonna work. And that's gonna involve getting a lot of different communities together, because I don't think enforcing this through laws is going to be the way to do it. It needs to come from the social sphere. It's not going to work by having guns enforce it. Duke says degrowth is also huge on the global north, reducing consumption massively and allowing space within planetary boundaries for the global south to achieve an equal standard. Yes. And the problem with even that framing is the fact that the North has taken all the wealth and resources from the South for 500 years at least. Yeah. And so it's about giving some of that back. And I don't think a lot of people will be easily sold on the idea of, that concept, especially when other factors come into play like racism, and the fear that some people might have that they will lose and have less. When in reality, the average person in the United States, the person who has less than $1,000 to their name, is not the person who's going to be greatly affected by that. But they'll constantly sell that person is the person who's going to be affected by degrowth. And that's why we all need to consume more oil, is what they'll say. Doug says, pushing for... Wait. Sorry, lost your message, Doug. Give me a second. Pushing for degrowth on the global south wouldn't even make sense for point. The whole idea to which makes certain climate change will not screw us over. Global north consumes just way more than the south. And, it's only going to get worse as the climate gets worse, because you're going to get climate refugees coming from the global south towards the global north, and that's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be massive amounts of xenophobia and racism that's going to enforce policies that are going to produce more nationalistic attitudes that are going to end up creating more racist and Nazi-like mentalities, or you're going to see people start to embrace the fact that there are people suffering across the globe, including the people who are on the receiving end of the people who live in the territories that are on the receiving end of the climate refugees, that there's a mutual interest and that it's going to require coming together to solve that problem. The problem that is the climate. Perry says, I wonder if one issue might be addressing the mental shift from being profit motivated to surplus and redistribution motivated, like as something to be ambitious about. I mean, that's certainly a part of it, for sure. I think one of these issues is that the way we handle things now, having too much of a product should drive costs down a lot, but it doesn't. Instead, the wealthy hoard the more products, or they end up producing things that don't need to be produced, or they prevent the production of things that need to be made to eventually avoid catastrophe. And the things that are not considered necessarily profitable are sometimes the things we need in the immediate moment. And it only becomes profitable when we create further disaster. Because, like, things like water, for example, like, they're already talking about water markets in some places where the more and more water ends up disappearing from the planet through the climate crisis, the more and more value is going to be attached to water. Um, and so things like desalination plants will become that much more valuable when we actually hit the crisis. So capitalism can't hit the brakes before we end up in crisis because it wants to drive right into it because that's where the money is. And it's just a terrible reality and perspective. Duke says, what is wrong is that we and the planet cannot afford capitalist profit. No, because the constant extraction of resources is killing the planet. It's killing one another, it's killing the planet, and it's not working for people. Duke says, there's nobody in degrowth even suggesting the South need to have less in any way. We need to redistribute so that they can have enough too. And the majority of the redistribution, of course, has to come from the billionaire class. And the high millionaire class. Doug says, yeah, no one ever does push for that. I was just expanding what you were saying. Gangle says, the understanding in capitalism is perpetual growth. If you're not growing, you're stagnating. Capitalism means perpetual escalation. De-escalation might be a useful framing. Okay, so actually that's a really good point. Why do you need perpetual growth under capitalism? The reason you need perpetual growth theoretically under capitalism is presuming on... There's more to it than this, but some of the factors involved are that you're assuming that population is increasing over time. So capitalism wants to have a system, theoretically, where it's perpetually growing while the population is perpetually growing, which theoretically, means that on a per capita basis, people stay either relatively the same or increase in the amount of wealth that they have. Like, per person, you would have more total wealth accumulated. However, that's not how that ends up manifesting. Because the real factor is that if you don't have perpetual growth, there's less resources available to consistently extract into the hands of the wealthy. In order for number to go up, more product has to be made, because then there needs to be more value extracted so that billionaire can become more. And there's more to it. I'm simplifying it a lot, but in a lot of ways I'm not oversimplifying it, I don't think. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The concept of degrowth is so antithetical to our current model that we could potentially have enough right now, and that's okay, is somewhat absurd to the capitalist framework. Perry says, agreed that the system is crashing and we just need to start the degrowth as part of a safety net. Doug says, I think no matter how you frame it, the propagandists will twist it. Of course. Like, no matter what we do. Right now, we live in, like, this weird dystopian 5-minute hate thing that is Twitter all the time, where all you have to do is say a thing and you'll get bots and you'll get actual people that will eventually latch on to what the bots say to attack and criticize the very valid perspective that you're offering through the well-funded, conservative propagandists. Like, you'll get all that all the time. It's absurd how they can twist the narrative and how they'll use buzzwords and oversimplified statements and all sorts of things to try to make the truth look like lies. Because that's literally the goal that they're trying to achieve. In sowing enough chaos to preserve the status quo just long enough until we all burn out so they can fill their pockets a little bit longer. Duke says, wait, did I miss a message? Did I miss a message? Duke says, yeah, I will post in the Discord a convo that a degrowth and green capitalist economist had in the Netherlands. It shows the difference is really clear. We need to get our heads around the fact that profit is based on exploitation and that exploitation is wrong. The thing is, I think people understand the idea that exploitation is wrong. I don't think it's evident that what occurs in our system is exploitation. Because what's promoted is the growth. What's promoted is the amount that you can make off of people, right? Take an example of a landlord. People focus on, I could have, quote, passive income. I could give money to my kids one day. I could have this. I could have that. But they don't figure out or look at the fact that they're exploiting someone else in the process. And so a lot of the responsibility that we have is to try to correlate the fact that what is exploitation actually is exploitation. There have been so many justifications that have been fed to us for almost 2 centuries of capitalist propaganda that don't address the full aspects of what goes into that type of exploitation. And yes, Marx has written about it, plenty of anarchists have written about it, plenty of Marxists have written about it, Marxist-Leninists have written about it. It's been written about and talked about a lot. But the thing that I think people struggle with, and this is why I feel like a lot of people, and in the US especially, end up seeing, the issues with government and they see the issues with capitalism and they go in more of an NCAP direction, which is basically they want to be at the top of the NCAP society and they can't imagine themselves being the person who's at the bottom rungs of those types of societies. And that comes from a lot of places of privilege, and that comes from a lot of places of just expectations that they'll be the winners at the end of the day. And a lot of people who are drawn to that have that mentality. And some of that's born through patriarchy, and some of that's born through white supremacy, and some of that is born through just American exceptionalism, because we'll always be the best and we'll always have everything. So yeah, I definitely think that, connecting the dots there is important. And the fact that you've read Ivy League school papers that basically say that exploitation might be okay, it's an attempt to justify the system. And, but I think the average person knows there's something wrong in theory with the idea that exploitation is, in fact, wrong. Most people get that. But if you're academic and you already know that there's something wrong, and you already know that there's exploitation involved because you've been, you've been read on the topic, then what I think happens is kind of like what we've seen in a lot of other areas where morally disgusting things have been socially acceptable. Take slavery for an example. How many pastors, priests, scholars, academics had to justify the institution of slavery in order to make sense of the world that they lived in, even though the exploitation was clearly wrong. And if you look back at 19th century texts, 18th century texts, 17th century texts even, that's when you start to see these justifications come out. Or they don't just come out and start to come out, but they exist, where you start to get the inherent white supremacist attitude of, one group is in fact better than the other, and this is, quote, the natural order, and all these other things that needs to be put in place because the exploitation has to be justified in some way, shape, or form. So I'm with you there, Perry. There needs to be a way that we fully represent all of that. Duke says degrowth is nice in that it's a big tent kind of structure, how it ends up shaping up. I agree, and I think we're going to get a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds in that concept of degrowth. You're going to have the people who think they can reform capitalism through degrowth. You're going to have the people who are anarchists. You're going to have people who are Marxists in all varieties, whether that be Marxist, MLMs, MLs. You're gonna get, social democrat progressives. You're gonna get a large group of people who all have the same process in mind, even if their end goal is slightly different. And Big Tent ends up meaning you can work with more people and more might get done. It also makes the more considered radical solutions a little bit more difficult to obtain. And that's where we need to be right now, to be perfectly honest. Those radical solutions are probably going to be the only way we can maybe prevent the climate and the planet from completely getting destroyed, from the way that we care about it. As it stands now, it's going to be, next to impossible, if not difficult. Perry says, true, as hard as it will be, agreed that it has to be a social thing, not top-down laws. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Duke says, solar punk will be helpful to sell people on this since they're ultimately the same thing. Yeah, I agree with you. And science fiction has the potential, if we can get more of more solar punk sci-fi will be beneficial. More solar punk sci-fi in all the media that we consume, whether that be movies, games, etc., that will sell the idea way better than anything else. If you look at a lot of the concepts of what it is to advance as a scientific society, as we have had scientific developments over the years, science fiction often ends up coming up with the ideas that inspires the people to move forward. And one of the things that I have found scary is how much dystopian fiction, dystopian science fiction in particular, think like that cyberpunk aesthetic has become so prevalent. And I really think a solar punk wave of sci-fi would be very helpful to redirect some of that hopelessness that we see in the dystopian media right now. Because I get the hopelessness. I get that. There are moments when I sit in that hopelessness. But there's also a reality where if you just sit in the hopelessness, you can't, you kind of self-fulfill that a little bit because you're not doing anything to fix it. And you're just letting the inevitable become reality. And that's harsh maybe, but I don't know. That's kind of how I see that. Harry says everyone will have more in more meaningful ways, I'd say. And Duke says solar punk is really beautiful and enticing when it's at its best. Duke says you'll have to hope that Canada does not have a far-right conservative government by the time Canada becomes a place to flee to. Our arable land is set to increase. Oof. I just don't even know what we'd be fleeing. It's hard to imagine Perry says solar punk seems to give individuals a more direct sense of what they can start doing, whereas degrowth seems more about the systemic level. Yeah, I could see that. Duke says solar punk and degrowth are putting are people pulling the same things together as the most reasonable solution to the problems they all see. They just happen to develop out of different milieus. Yeah, pretty much. Gangle says unused clothes in the style of previous season going in the landfill is an abomination. I think you're trying to say unused clothing there. Yeah. Fast fashion is one of the biggest problems. Where it actually becomes more profitable to produce waste than it actually does to produce good things that last. And it's kind of a planned obsolescence. Is that the right word that I'm using? Planned obsolescence. Just wanna make sure I'm not. Not opulescence. What's the word? Obsolescence. There we go. Sorry. A lot of thoughts in my head going on at once. Planned obsolescence is a big part of that. Duke says they should be merging. Completely agree. Perry says, really like this. Gangle, de-escalation might be useful framing. De-escalation sounds better to me. I think there's a lot of emphasis on what phrase we use, and I get the marketing, I get the idea that we have to make it palatable in some way, shape, or form, but I feel like de-escalation kind of begs the question of de-escalation of what? Whereas degrowth has this very specific meaning that says, we are going to stop this growth. And of course, under capitalism, that's the big, how could you even think of that? But I mean, it's a tough sell regardless. Duke says, while I get the concern with degrowth, the term's already a movement with over 400 local nodes worldwide that are currently organizing an international governed, I scrolled too far, hold up. As a sociocracy. Yeah, and I'm with you there, Duke. The idea that there's already a movement behind it, I think that kind of is the most important part already. I don't think having, the perfect media term is ever going to exist. Doug says extraction has been killing us for a while. Coal miners and asbestos miners are two big ones that come to mind. Yeah, and mining of resources is mining of resources is literally the biggest example of extraction being a killer, whether it be coal and asbestos like you mentioned, or gold mining, or uranium mining, or any sort of literal extractions from the earth that exists in some form. Thinking of coltan, for example. Lithium right now with the way that it's being gathered. There's so much wrong with how we extract and who extracts. Who are the extractors and who extracts the wealth from the extractors? And it's an enforced system of violence all around. And that history has been happening, like you said, Doug, for at least a couple of centuries. Duke says it also has a decade or so of work in academia behind that term specifically as well. Yeah, exactly. Perry says for sure, rather than replace degrowth, I would just start using de-escalation. Just add another term that pulls towards the same thing as degrowth and solar punk. Yeah, that could work. I mean, in terms of how you personally explain it to people, you have to have a variety of tools at your disposal to be able to say, like, hey, um, when I say degrowth, this is what I mean. Um, because as with terms like, say, defund the police, you're trying to encapsulate an entire field of study into a simple phrase that everybody can understand, and that's never going to happen. So you need to be able to be like, well, actually, when they say degrowth, what they mean is like a form of de-escalation of production that doesn't involve, and then continue from there. All the things we've talked about. So in terms of personal conversations, I agree with you. De-escalation might be a great way for you to express it to other people. And that's important too. Duke says, I also like the aggressive challenge that the term makes. We're not messing around is what it says. I am with you, Duke, on that one. The idea that we are flat out going to stop the growth model of capitalism. Like, that's literally in the name. Perry says a plurality of terms that for one put all together in the same direction instead of competing against each other for legitimacy kind of thing. For sure. Doug says, Perry, my point is more that it doesn't matter what you start with. The people you can't convince won't change their minds, and just changing the labels doesn't change the position. I agree with you completely. The whole idea that it's going to be, a certain optics thing that we need to listen to a certain word or use a specific word. The people who are going to take the time to understand it are going to take the time to understand it. And the people who are going to dismiss it based on a single word and not take the time to actually learn what it is, either weren't interested in the first place or weren't going to be convinced otherwise or didn't otherwise have time. But the second they have someone who's willing to explain it to them, who's sitting there and having a conversation with them, and if they choose to ignore it at that point, that person was not going to be convinced. It doesn't matter what you call it. You could call it whatever, and if somebody just chooses not to listen because they're happy with the status quo in some way, that's just going to be their position. And I accept the fact that there are some people who maybe won't change their minds, and there might be some people who just need the right person to change their minds. And that not everybody is going to be the voice of, that changes minds for every single person. I might be able to reach 3 people my whole life, for example, in person, right? Like, say I reach 3 people in my entire life. There might be someone else who could not have reached those 3 people, but ends up reaching thousands of others. And, it's all about working together to try to convince as many people as possible. But I do agree with you, Doug, that there's some people who, no matter what way you explain it to them, no matter how many ways you explain it to them, they will sit there and they will tell you, but what about this? But what about that? But what about this? Explain everything and fix everything. And what about all of the dramatic stuff that they want to address that doesn't actually address real issues that are actually facing the planet right now? Duke says, I've heard that degrowthers refer to the pluriverse because they are dorky academics. I'm not actually familiar with that phrase. Perry says, for sure, I think it's a change in terms might just help get the ones that are already leaning in the right direction but are hung up on certain associations they have with existing terms. Like I said, yeah, some people need to hear it differently. So by all means. The average person does get it, but those papers helping with the mental gymnastics go the other way, says Perry. Need good dialoguing to counteract it. Perry says, really good point that degrowth is a big tent structure. Duke says, I would argue that by big tent, I mean not specific to any ideology, but focused on solutions and agreement without giving up radical understanding. If the goal is a decentralized world, then there could be many different visions of the future that are achieved at the same time. since no one is like, quote, taking over the world. Duke says degrowth, another term for cancer treatment. Yeah. Um that's a fair point. And that's part of what I was getting at with the way that I was phrasing the concept of the big tent. Um but I Here's my issue, my thing, and this is something that comes from my own internal pessimisms. I have seen too many structures where climate scientists, where people who have a vested interest in fighting against these very programs, find out that the money is where the corporations are and end up getting um donations to essentially change their position or to lessen the radical perspectives, while still kind of falling under that same big tent and appearing more radical than they actually are. I'm reminded of Kurz in that, for example, where there's a major issue where some climate scientists have essentially taken money from foundations, and those foundations have conservative corporate backers. And so they end up playing different perspectives against each other, where they'll offer a small capitalist solution that ends up not really actually being a solution. And they'll end up shilling for that one or two, you know, really, really positive points at the cost of their entire integrity. And I think that's part of, why we need to start moving away from these profit models. But again, the only way we're going to do that is by creating dual power structures that allow us to literally eat and live without relying on the institutions that exist right now. How could I theoretically survive? How could I theoretically pay my bills, pay for the things that I need, and still promote the things that I need to promote without the message being completely pushed aside? Duke says, no, Perry says, exactly, that's why I think it's good to think in terms of multiple suitable terms to better meet people where they're at. Exactly. Duke says, someone taking the time to explain, to my understanding, has to be done between friends. This is a big reason why I keep harping and putting the social into socialism. Yeah, and I think a big part of it, a big part of the struggle that exists is that populations that are already not believed or not respected or treated in a poorer fashion by general society, either through oppression or whatever, end up getting their voices silenced when essentially they're the ones that need to be listened to a lot of the times. And it ends up being a really bizarre thing where I know you're saying it has to be between friends, but if you have a situation where, say, a black woman were to present an argument, and you'd get certain populations of white men, for example, who might dismiss it completely out of hand, but they'll listen to a white man saying the exact same thing. And it's frustrating. It is frustrating because they'll dismiss your arguments right out. And so, yeah, it does need to happen between friends. But we also have to remember the social conditions of which friendships tend to form, and a lot of that goes into, racial and gender-based boundaries. It starts to go into sexual orientation ends up being a boundary to that. And so the communities that we're within, we can reach. But that's where having people who are part of the oppressor class, who speak who actually have listened, echoing those voices and pointing at the voices and not just taking credit for it, but pointing to the people who said it and saying they said that before me, and you need to listen to them, and breaking those boundaries as well. Yeah, we got a lot of work. We got a lot of work. One way or another, there's going to be a lot of work that happens. Like we said, we're either going to create solar punk near utopia, something right out of Star Trek or better, or we're going to end up crashing. And that isn't to say we can't find a way to salvage things because we're resourceful as a species. But what that's going to do, the amount of people that will suffer from that, if we don't have solutions in place, if we don't implement things now, ideas now, so that the decisions can be made, using those resources as opposed to just having to completely reinvent the wheel, things are going to be rough. I'm reminded of with what you were saying about friends, Duke, and what you're saying now when it comes to white people needing to do better and setting up social clubs to create environments for this to happen. Um, there are certain people who will listen to certain voices and personalities because they look and sound like them. And I mean that all around. Like it's they will listen to the voices that look and sound like them more than someone else's. But the people who are going to be primarily affected by climate crisis are not always going to be the people who look like the majority of people in power in the United States, for example. And so that's a major roadblock. The people that need to be listened to are not being listened to and haven't been for centuries at this point. And have been oppressed for centuries. Duke says Star Trek crashed before they had warp and the Federation. Billions died in the eugenics war in that timeline. Yeah, you had the eugenics war, and then you had World War III in that timeline. And you had entire segments of the globe that were under almost French Revolution style like bourgeois weird dictatorship things where you had councils, execution councils and stuff, and then suddenly you get the warp drive just built out of nowhere, and all of a sudden the Vulcans show up, and it's like, the hell is this planet? And everybody starts getting their crap together simply because of the existence of the Vulcans. And it's such a hopeful message, but at the same time, the alternate universe is how I unfortunately feel like the Vulcans would actually be met. If you've seen the Enterprise episode where they changed that, humans are a very strange species in Star Trek. And Duke, you had said, I agree with your concerns about capture Terra. I think that's why smart anarchists that like to nerd over espionage shit are important merely to exist within such a movement. Yeah, that's completely realistic and fair. And it's important to call out those financial obligations and whatever. To call out where that funding's coming from. Because that's the thing also. The wealth and power that's distributed if they have the resources, they'll give a little bit to somebody to be like, we'll basically cover your means if you just serve our interests and ends up being the voice for us. Peddle lies for us, and you know, you can have yours. We'll pull you a step above everybody else. You'll have your means covered. And you get to do something that you kind of like. And we'll dial back the evil just a little bit. It's disturbing. But meanwhile, all that wealth and resource was extracted from the same policies that end up getting promoted. So, that's my take on all of that. I feel like with everything that I say, everything I talk about when it comes to this channel, it always ends up coming back to capitalism needs to go. And we need to abolish systems of power and hierarchy. Like, the messages are clear. Whether it be degrowth, whether it be ending, you know, ending things like police brutality, white supremacy, patriarchy, etc. All of it is about trying to create systems of equality. Of equity, right? An equitable system where we are able to advocate for ourselves, where we're able to have control over our own lives, where the things that don't matter in terms of the group are basically left alone, and where things that involve the group are discussed and mediated over and come to a conclusion with that doesn't exclude anybody from the conversation, because we all belong in these spaces. That's to me the core essence of where we need to be. Not with somebody coming in and saying, well, this is mine, so I own this, I'm gonna take everything now. Doesn't make any sense. And if you think about how much work and resources go into keeping track of the tiny little accumulations that we make, every tiny little accumulation that we make, when you think about the amount of resources that go into making sure that every little thing is accounted for, every I is dotted, every T is crossed, we waste so much trying to check each other and make sure that we're all trustworthy, that if we just damn trusted each other, it would save a lot of time and resources. A lot of time and resources. Like, just think of how many jobs are tied to making sure that every last cent is properly spent. Think about how many people are in positions of power to enforce certain things. You know, this comes back down to, like, even things like welfare programs, right? Like, the amount of money that's spent trying to, quote, enforce who gets it and who doesn't. You could just give people the money when they ask for it. Like, you could just give. And you wouldn't need to set up bureaucracies and systems that are completely unrequired. And when you go back to all the different jobs and resources and all the businesses and all the storefronts, when you could create systems with centralized hubs of resource distribution and turn a lot of those storefronts into housing, because you wouldn't have to have somebody's job literally be to peddle a resource, and you could have them basically put back in the pool of doing whatever creative tasks are required of human capability. I don't know. Doesn't make much sense to me. Not much of this system makes sense to me. I get it. I get how it came to be. I get how it exists, and I get how it functions. I have looked up and researched enough to understand how that works. But I'll tell you a fun story. When I took economics, um, and I needed to answer questions on tests, I would often just look at it, and it was one of the only classes where I would answer the opposite of what my instinct was, and I would get the correct answer every time. Because even then, I had the instinct that there was something wrong. And I'm talking about the basic mythology, like 101 style economics. Like, I get that when you get into like econometrics and higher level economic theory, that there is something theoretically useful for understanding the way that the world supposedly functions. But I'm not gonna say that like someone like Richard Wolff, for example, doesn't understand or isn't doing anything important or anything. I'm not trying to crap on that, but in terms of the way they introduce basics of economics, it's always the capitalist mythology. Always. Duke says every good or service that becomes freely distributed ends up being so much cheaper overall, like every time. Yeah. I mean, you literally have companies right now extracting wealth from people who happen to have diabetes because we need to drive up insulin costs. And the only way to get, that paid for is to pay money into a pool that serves the economic interests of the capitalist class, which is the insurance policy. Like, come on. Like, this is all funneling money back up all the time. We'll give the peasants just enough for them to survive off of, theoretically, and maybe not even enough to survive on sometimes. So they'll stay in line, and then we'll keep extracting more and more and more until we consolidate everything. That's why you have so many companies right now buying back their stocks, which is causing the inflation to skyrocket. You have companies charging, when there's 8% inflation, charging 40% increases on goods and services and food, especially. Things like, you see these 40% increases, that's just wealth extraction. And they don't care if it's a damn nickel per person, they'll take and take and take. Gangle says capitalism is insanity in so many ways. Take the wealth hoarding of billionaires, that's just insane, obsessed behavior. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's an understatement. No, that is a I don't know another way to phrase this, but I can't. Let me put it this way. Humans have a difficult idea processing large numbers. That is just psychologically generally psychologically true, right? Large numbers are things that we struggle with. And what is a large number has changed and varied over history. But I think it speaks volumes that certain cultures used 1,000 to represent this overwhelming concept of many. For example, the idea of 1,000,000 is difficult. The idea of 1,000,000,000 is next to impossible for a human being to comprehend because you can't visualize it. Like, you can't fully grasp what 1,000,000,000 is. And I say that not to dismiss people, but like when you say that you have these people like Elon Musk with 200 plus $1 billion, What in the hell has Elon Musk done, or anybody done, to even, have any sort of connection to that level of wealth? That is this unfathomably high number. Duke says Econ 101 is just pushing the status quo. They do that before they introduce anything else. Economics is much closer to philosophy than social science. I agree with you. And that's why I was talking about how things like econometrics and some of the mathematical components of it that come later in economics courses and degrees do have some more value. And the philosophy behind it and exploring the philosophy of what goes into a proper economy and how to manage it and how markets are supposed to be developed and how exchange rates are supposed to occur and blah, 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 blah. And, when you get into things like game theory and how it manifests into that, there's value in those conversations. But I agree with you, it's philosophy. But Econ 101 is literally propaganda. They set you up with the base capitalist mythology so that you are prepped and primed for future courses to never read Marx. I'm just being real about it. That's what that is. And there are very few economics curriculum that will ever even mention Marx. Which, how can you not? But also, it doesn't suit the interests of people. Also, they lie about Adam Smith all the time. Adam Smith had a very different perspective. And while I have not fully read all of Smith, I've read enough of his enough of his texts from small readings that I've had to do either for classes or for personal stuff where it's they twist Smith. They have the mythos of what's it called, the tragedy of the commons, and they basically justify the aftermaths of colonialism in Econ 101, and they talk about global trade as if everybody's just passing around money to each other and it's all fair and all equal and all even. And no, it's not. There are big interests colonizing and stealing from small interests from inside one nation, from the bottom to the top, and outside of the nation, from across the globe, from one rich country to one poor country, whether it's the microeconomics or the macroeconomics. Theft is the norm in the way that markets are handled in our current system. Duke says start with Smith, then read through a survey of the foundational texts of each school. It's 20 to 30 books tops. That would be a real econ education and the conversation of perspectives that econ instead I find. Yeah, that would be far more realistic. And then, of course, the mathematics aspects of it, which does have an important part of it. But if they actually address the real philosophy behind it, it would be evident to more students that there's still a colonial element to everything. But yeah. Duke said, but when I say read Smith, read both of his major books, because you have to understand his economic text as well as his sequel, foundational moral text, on the moral sentiment of men. Correct. And everybody talks about Wealth of Nations, but not on the moral sentiment of men. Anarcho-communist says there's a lot of pro-capitalist myths such as trickle-down economics. The system does a great job of making people fear good change by associating socialism with famine, dictatorship, etc. Yeah, meanwhile, it's capitalism that's causing those famines. And mostly the ones upholding dictatorships in other countries to preserve the economic interests of oligarchs. Yeah. But then they can point to them and be like, see? Look what happened. We put an embargo on a nation and prevented them from getting economic resources from half the globe using our global influence. But, this tiny island nation, Cuba, somehow managed to increase its literacy rate up to like 97 to 98%, ended up producing more doctors than anybody else, and somehow survived through all of that. And some could argue thrived at certain moments at the very least. But no, it's totally capitalism that's failed, because the way we measure wealth is not from literacy and not from people having access to doctors. It's by producing more widgets and then having some billionaire take money for the widget. And don't get me started with widgets. And as you mentioned, anarcho-communist, trickle down has to be the greatest form of bullshit that was ever sold by the right. The idea that the right produce jobs and therefore money will trickle down. that if you stop regulating things, if you stop forming unions, and if you just let the capitalists do what they do, you'll create efficient systems where everybody in the collective society will grow in wealth. And the problem is part of the bullshit of that is that for certain populations historically, there's a certain element of truth to that myth. And what do I mean by that? Well, the American working class has always benefited from capitalism colonizing other nations, and the US government performing coups and installing dictatorships and extracting resources from other parts of the globe. And that wealth has in fact trickled down from the wealthiest to other Americans. And a large part of that had to do with unions, and a large part of that had to do with fighting the capitalist class through social movements like anarchist and communist movements, fighting for reforms and creating, the 40-hour work week, and making sure that pay raises happened. So, but it does need to be understood that some of that wealth did get trickled down during those times because there was an extraction of resources and wealth from the rest of the globe. And so there was a place to funnel just a small amount of that so that the workers would shut up and would stick with the capitalists and not completely revolt. Right? So, like, I hope that makes sense what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying trickle down is real. What I'm saying is that there was a certain level in the imperial core where it appeared that wealth did trickle down. And so it was an easy sell for some people. Which is disturbing, because Reagan kind of pushed us in the direction socially and economically towards the worst aspects of conservative perspectives today. And it's all a backlash to the fact that feminism was on the rise, that Black liberation was on the rise in the 60s and 70s, and the conservatives needed to basically throw as much funding as possible at creating propaganda campaigns to stifle all of it. Because people really started addressing the fact that economics was a huge component of a lot of social oppressions. Harry says it seems most are not even aware that Adam Smith had a prequel of On the Moral Sentiment of Men. Duke said, you should read Smith. It's not actually that long. He's also fairly readable, I find. He's more readable than Marx. I will be perfectly blunt with you. Smith is more readable than Marx. Marx is very long-winded and likes to... Oh, boy. Yeah. Outside of the Communist Manifesto, Marx is very hard to read. Because he just goes on and on and on and on. He's like reading a Dickens novel about economics. But Smith is fairly accessible. I agree with you, Duke. Smith was actually ultimately and throughout concerned with how to make a society that encourages and makes it possible for everyone to be good. Wealth of Nations is him, realizing that deprivation breeds crime and violence, so to have a good society it must be prosperous. Which is the exact opposite of what the outcomes are under capitalism. Because it has to be enforced at gunpoint. Or by extracting food from the hands of children. Like, Harry says, interesting and unfortunate how his works have been used. Doug says, also, I'm gonna head out for now. I'll catch you later. Doug, it was a pleasure. Thank you for stopping by. This has also been a wonderful conversation. Yeah, it's good to be getting into these type of conversations again. And a lot of, I just want to put it out there, a lot of the things that you're all talking about in this conversation, that I'm talking about in this conversation that have come up, it's a lot of the thoughts that will probably be coming out in different ways and in different perspectives in some of the content I'm hoping to produce within the next few weeks, hopefully. Assuming, again, nothing goes wrong. So yeah, we're on a very... This is a very good topic for me, and it's very good that I'm getting this out, because in a lot of ways, I'm going to be probably using this as a springboard for some videos coming up. Anarcho-communist says, because the United States benefits at the expense of other nations that are exploited by the US. Correct. And so when you have an overall increase in the wealth of one nation, at the cost of other nations, the poorest in that nation might seem to rise in wealth if there is a certain amount allowed to go to that class. And so it will appear as if capitalism good, but capitalism is still coming at the expense of a bunch of other people across the globe. You know, there's an argument to be made that part of what the US did over the past 150 at least years is it moved the worst oppressions outside of its borders to make it more palatable for people in its borders. To make it seem like the prosperity of, what comes in the US is in fact a natural product of capitalism. When it has been wealth and resource extraction that has fueled industrialization in just about every Western nation. I'm pretty sure pretty much every Western nation has had that. Oh, Duke, you didn't know? Yeah, I said at the beginning of the stream, you probably weren't here for that. I am going to be working on a vid this week. I am hopeful that a video will come out this week, unless something goes wrong. And I'm putting it out there. I'll do my best to get it done, and, we'll see what happens. It's very possible something will set me back, but that's the plan right now. At least one video will be out this week. I already have my topic in mind, and it's actually very adjacent to what we were talking about in this conversation. Anarcho-communist says yes, along with Margaret Thatcher. Thatcher and Reagan were quite the duo. Duke said the Scottish Enlightenment was a cool time and place, not gonna lie. Duke says maybe... yeah, I read that. Gangle says, I live in a traditionally social democrat system. The compromise of social democracy is allowing capitalism to continue unhindered as long as the working class gets a bite of the apple, a bribe. Essentially, yes. And whenever you have an empire, which the US is, let's be real, um, it doesn't function as an empire quite in the way that historic empires have, but it is an empire. When an empire wants to appease the next class, it needs a new group of underclass to come in and to do the work. And in the internal structure of the US, every immigrant wave has been used to justify the higher positions of the previous immigrant wave in the previous, the next generation as it comes in. And on a global scale, the amount of wealth that is extracted from other nations allows for, as you described, that bribe to happen. And it's disturbing because I understand the idea that within a certain framework and within a certain nation, people are drawn to the social democrat policy, right? Like, they're drawn to that because it means I might get healthcare. It means I'll have my kids be able to get an education. It means I might be able to afford certain things. And with the way the US structures its system, those things are dreams for some people. Like, the ability to do that and to have the government cover that and like take care of that, that's amazing. On some level. And I get it. But then you have to look beyond your borders, and you have to recognize that we're in an international world, not just a national one. And social democracy still appeals to that level of nationalism and that level of got mine, screw you. There's a level where I feel like in a lot of people's minds in the US, one of the things I fear, at the very least, is that there is a certain segment of people who would be very content getting healthcare for all in the US and just give a giant middle finger to the rest of the globe. And that's their definition of being on the left. And it's abhorrent in some level. It's disturbing how much of a trap that can be. And the problem is when people arrive in the United States, they're sold that same exact concept. You're here now, so you could be potentially getting a piece of the pie if you just deal with this. So, but the forms of argument, your society must eliminate the capitalist profit from the system, and lays out the moral and economic cases for it, for sure. But it should keep the bribes and make them better. It should make the bribes better. It should also end up redistributing that wealth on a global scale, which is part of the degrowth conversation that we were having, where, some of that wealth and resource extraction has to manifest in a way that gives back to the global south. But yeah, I think this is a good place to call the stream. But Duke, just let me read your comment. That reminds me of a video of a Chinese man I shared who said that his life was getting better year after year for decades, and so was everyone around him. That's easy for people to like. Yeah, it is. And that's part of that whole bribe that we were talking about. But yeah, this has been an amazing conversation. Thank you so much. Next week, we will have the last campfire. Look forward to that. Please do the whole algorithm thing, like, comment, subscribe. Again, Patreon, if you want to support me. Thank you all for your patience, where I've had to take some time to grieve and to deal with some stuff personally and to get my life back in order. So thank you all for understanding that. And, I'm grateful for this community and for everybody being aware of that. Additionally, again, try to look, we're looking at a video this week. That's my goal. I'm gonna get one out. So look forward to that. And yeah, with that said, Gengel says, I applaud when Americans become sock dems because they're on the right track, but I hope they move further left as they learn. I completely agree with you. If we stop right there, that's not going to solve the issues. But yeah, with that said, I'm going to give you all your 5 minutes. If you want to talk and continue the conversation amongst yourselves, check out the Discord and continue the conversation there. Thank you as always, and I will see you all hopefully in a video this week, and I will see you next week on stream for the last campfire. Y'all have a good one, and thanks for stopping by.